Hello, it's Christy with greenlivingoffgrid.com, and today I want to talk to you about greenhouses. How do you choose the best greenhouse for your growing conditions? Well, I've been growing in a greenhouse for over 10 years now. You can see in my videos I have featured my Solexx Gardener Oasis greenhouse that I have used for years. First, I started growing the plants in garden beds that I had on the shelving system, and then I converted everything over to an aquaponics hydroponics system. In the lower shelves, I ran aquaponics fish water circulating through those grow beds and down back into the fish tank. So we had a way of purifying the water by the plants, taking the nutrients out and purifying that water before it went back into the fish tanks. And so it was a regenerative type of growing system, utilizing the water from my fish tanks to feed my plants, both in the lower shelves and then in the upper shelves. I had hydroponics, and those were deep water culture bins. And while I had fish water that I would run into those beds, I also had some hydroponic nutrients to help supplement those larger tomato plants that I grew in the upper shelves. And this was all really great to have in this Gardener Oasis Solexx brand of greenhouse, because I was able to do everything that I needed. The shelving system of the Solexx greenhouse is made of a composite material that bridge beams are made out of. So it was super strong. It can handle 500 pounds per shelf. And so I could climb on those shelves to reach my plants, to service my equipment, my aerators, my water pumps that I had in my greenhouse. Everything was able to be serviced just fine because I could get up on those shelves to reach the different types of equipment that I had for my hydroponic system. So I really like the Solexx greenhouse. There's another thing that I like about Solexx greenhouses, and that is that the greenhouse covering itself of Solexx is able to diffuse the light. So growing on a shelving system where your lower shelves don't get as much light as your upper shelves was not as much of an issue, because Solexx diffuses the light that comes into the greenhouse to distribute it evenly throughout the greenhouse to be able to reach your plants effectively for growing. Whether you're starting seeds or whether you're growing plants to full term like I did with my aquaponics and my hydroponic systems, the Solexx greenhouse covering worked really well for that. Another advantage of Solexx over, let's say, polycarbonate and some of your other firm-sided greenhouse coverings is that it has an R rating. If you buy the 5 mm R rating type of greenhouse, it's the thickest covering that the Solexx provides. It is able to help protect your plants from the harsh cold weather. It handled hail. We had dime-sized hail hit the greenhouse, no issues whatsoever. It doesn't nick, it doesn't scratch. Well, I suppose if you score it with a knife, it'll scratch. But under normal conditions, the Solexx material is very durable. I have 3 kids, and occasionally a ball would come flying and hit my greenhouse. We also had an incident where before we were able to get the ground anchors into the ground to support the greenhouse to protect it from blowing over, a windstorm came up. It blew the greenhouse right into my kids' swing set a few feet away, and I was bummed because it looked like I had a major crease into my greenhouse paneling on the side. But to my surprise and amazement, as the sun heated up the greenhouse, when we got it back anchored into the ground over the next day, the crease worked itself out, and by the next morning you could never tell that it had blown into the swing set at all. The crease was gone. And even to this day, 10 years later, you can see in my pictures, there's no sign of any type of damage ever done to the paneling whatsoever. It's an extremely durable paneling for hail, for winds, for harsh snowstorms. We had 6-foot drifts on the property. We had a windstorm come through and blow over 100 miles an hour. No issue whatsoever with my greenhouse paneling. And if anything ever happened in the 10 years of growing in that greenhouse, we may have had a little leak that developed on the side paneling. All we had to do was just get a little caulking and caulk those seams at times when, over time, the caulking breaks down and you just add another bead of caulk, and it was no issue to maintain whatsoever. So I love the Solexx greenhouses, and I talked to the company and recently was able to get accepted as a distributor for this greenhouse on our brand new website, besthomegardens.com. And at Best Home Gardens, unlike the Amazon and the box retailers where you could get, kind of your run-of-the-mill type of garden materials, we are working to source and retail the premium grade products for greenhouses and different yard structures that you might want to have for protecting your plants and your equipment. So check out besthomegardens.com. Growing out here in Colorado, the light is very intense from the sun, but it's not an issue with Solexx because it diffuses the light of the sun that comes in to the greenhouse, and so it helps protect the plants from leaf burn. So check out our greenhouse kits and take a look at the premium garden products we have at besthomegardens.com. And for aquaponics, hydroponics, and other tips, check out greenlivingoffgrid.com with our links to Amazon for the different types of products you can get to build your own hydroponic and aquaponic system. And don't forget, at Green Living Off Grid, we offer a free PDF guide to help you get started with aquaponics and hydroponics. Just go to Green Living Off Grid, enter your email address, and we'll send those PDF guides directly to you. So check out besthomegardens.com for premium garden greenhouses and garden supplies, and Green Living Off Grid for tips in organic gardening and hydroponics and aquaponics systems. Happy growing, everyone, and we'll see you again next time.